Welcome to the world of probiotic foods. This is Cultured Food Life with your host, Donna Schwenk.
Welcome, everybody, and thanks for joining me. I always appreciate you tuning in to listen to some of the things that I would like to talk about that I think would help you enhance your health and your life and things that I have learned on my journey. And one of my favorite topics is prebiotics. I love talking about prebiotics because I think they're as important as probiotics. And I've researched a ton about this. I've learned so much about it. And I ingest a lot of prebiotics. And we're going to discover that it's really easy to do. And if you don't know what prebiotics are, they are really, really, really important, just as important as probiotics. And they are indigestible fibers that nourish the good bacteria in the large bowel or colon. And here's the thing, the body itself cannot digest these foods, but our bacteria can. And when they do, we receive the benefits. And one thing I want to note here, adding a lot of prebiotics and probiotics should always be done with care when you're doing this. They will massively change and grow and multiply in your microbiome. They were going to change it. And it can cause a little bit of stomach distress, such as gas or bloating, as they start to grow and multiply very quickly and rapidly. And they ferment these prebiotic fibers. Your bacteria ferments these prebiotic fibers, and they ferment them. They change your gut flora for the better. But often you need a little bit of time to adjust to the huge changes that are happening inside of you. Now, prebiotics are really interesting because you're already eating prebiotics without knowing it. And they really are powerful medicine that has virtually no calories. So, do you remember when eating fiber was the new craze? This was a couple decades ago. They were putting fiber in everything. And I never really understood all this since your body couldn't absorb any of these fibers. And I didn't know why it helped so much. And this was prior to me learning about cultured foods. And I knew that, yes, it's supposed to help keep things moving through the colon to speed elimination. But, I didn't understand how it was helping the body's immune system, why it was reducing things like cholesterol and blood sugar numbers. And it was really interesting to me because I was trying to understand all this. And, fruits and vegetables, everybody knows we should eat more of them. But why are they so special? Many fruits and vegetables are prebiotics. And everybody knows we should be eating more of them, but they feed your microbiome in a very, very powerful way. Certain ones are stronger than others, and I want to get into that later in this podcast. But they all have these elements that really help feed our gut flora, which is one of the reasons why they make us so healthy. So, although all prebiotics are fiber, not all fiber is prebiotic. So fiber must be fermented by the intestinal microflora and stimulate the growth or activity of the intestinal bacteria to really be considered a prebiotic. So in certain plants, there are fibers, which the body cannot digest, and fiber can be separated into insoluble fiber and soluble fiber. And insoluble fiber promotes the movement of material through the digestive system. It increases stool bulk. It just helps things move along. It does help make elimination easier, but what you really, really want is soluble fiber. And this type of fiber is broken down and fermented by the colon bacteria. And these soluble fibers are digested by our bacteria, which then increases the mighty army of good bacteria inside of us. And these types of fibers are essentially food for our bacteria, and they are so beneficial in so many ways. They lower cholesterol, they can lower blood pressure, they can decrease insulin resistance, they help us lose weight, and they are also very effective in treating people with things like irritable bowel syndrome or other gut disorders that have been causing a lot of problem. And it's interesting because these fibers really have no calories, and they strengthen and feed the trillions of microfloras inside of us. And there's so many healthy benefits from dietary fiber. It's been linked to so many health benefits, things like cardiovascular disease, increased weight loss, and it stimulates metabolic activity. And I just have to wonder if the real benefits in fruits and vegetables And nuts and seeds and grains lie in the fact that they are helping our good bacteria thrive and grow. So, prebiotics act as a fertilizer to promote the growth of good bacteria in our gut. So, it's kind of like going out and spreading out fertilizer all over our microflora to help it multiply and be healthy. And this is essential to the health and function of our immune system. You want a bunch of different good bacteria, very diverse types of bacteria in your gut. And eating cultured foods can help accomplish that because that gives you the probiotics. But if you add the addition of prebiotics, you have a super strong combination that not only boosts your immune system, but it also strengthens your ability to absorb things like calcium, magnesium, and other minerals that are usually lacking in our diets. And it's a real problem nowadays. People are really mineral deficient because our soils are depleted of minerals. And because we've overgrown crops over and over again. And now they're getting into, really replenishing those grounds, giving them a break, letting them, allow their mineral content to increase. And it's really important for us, just like it is for the soil, to have a lot of minerals in our body. And prebiotics can help you absorb those. So, where can you get prebiotics? Well, the first place you can get them is by eating more fruits and vegetables. There are many prebiotic supplements that work, and I'm going to talk about those too. But you can add these supplements to like hot beverages, foods, or cook with them, or just sprinkle them on foods, and they will make the bacteria that's already residing. If you're eating cultured foods, that they will help those to grow and multiply. So, here are some of my favorite supplements. Prebio Plus, Bodycology has an Eco Bloom. Sweet Leaf Stevia has in the powder form. It has a prebiotic in it. And these special powders are all made with inulin. And you can find these, like I have Prebio Plus is on my website, Eco Bloom. You can find, I think on Amazon. And I'll give you links to all of those things and to the Sweet Leaf Stevia. You can start looking at the back of your packages and you'll see the things that are made with inulin and fructooleosaccharides, or FOS, and Acacia. They feed your bacteria like crazy. And they're coming up in a lot of health products now because they give fiber to these products. I've seen them in food bars. I've seen they're mostly in the health foods, in the health food type of supplements, but they're also in like energy bars. I've seen them in all kinds of different, protein powders, things like that. They're adding them to them because not only do they add a tiny bit of sweetness, it's not very much, but they also add a lot of fiber, and it helps to increase the good bacteria in your gut, but it also helps bind things together and make the food more healthy. So if you see things like inulin and FOS or fructooleosaccharide, you're going to know that you're getting some of the strongest prebiotics there are. One of the interesting things that I thought was really interesting was that fresh juices also contain prebiotics. I never thought of juicing as, having fiber in it because I thought you removed all the fiber from that, so I didn't think you'd get it. But you do, you get soluble fiber, which could be found in liquid form. So when you juice things, you're getting a lot of prebiotics, which is one of the reasons I think juices can be so healthy for people because the soluble fiber remains in the juice even after you stripped out the fibers that are insoluble. You still get lots of soluble fiber, which is going to feed your bacteria. Prebiotics can be found in things like bananas, berries, kale, chard, onions, especially leeks. Garlic is very powerful, asparagus, artichokes. Jicama is a huge one. Jicama and leeks are two of the bigger ones. Chicory root is probably one of the very biggest ones of them all, which is what things like inulin are made from, is chicory root. And dandelion greens is those are very strong. So dandelion, chicory root, jicama, leeks, they're some of the biggest. They are also in some whole grains. There's some in honey. And some even say that there's some in the milk sugars. Prebiotics can also be found in food products and supplements. And so if you see something on the back of the patch that says inulin or FOS or fructooleosaccharide and chicory root, know that you're getting a prebiotic in that food. So let me talk to you about some of my favorite. We've got a lot of supplements and foods, but I want to tell you how much is in every one of them and where you can find them. Acacia, often called acacia gum, contains 86% prebiotic content. It is used as a food stabilizer and has a substantial amount of fiber, and it's essential for strengthening the good bacteria in your gut. It's really important. One place to find this is in the supplement Prebio Plus. And this is my supplement that we made because I wanted a prebiotic supplement that I could use everywhere, in my kefir smoothies, in my cultured veggies, in my coffee, in my tea, and I put it in there. And I often just, so in the morning, sometimes I put it in my coffee or my tea. So I sometimes sprinkle it into salad. I put it in my condiments. And it's wonderful because it feeds the good bacteria, not only in my gut, but also in the cultured foods that I make. So I use it all the time. And you can use it too. It helps make your kefir creamy again. Prebio Plus is great. It's got three prebiotics in it. And Acacia is one of them. Okay, the next one is asparagus. This contains 5% prebiotic content. Now, it diminishes in prebiotics the more you cook it. So if you lightly cook it, it still remains in there. Or if you eat it raw, it remains in there. But asparagus is a very good prebiotic. Bananas contain 1% prebiotic content. And green bananas or plantains contain up to 3% prebiotic fiber. So depending on how ripe they are, the greener they are, the more prebiotics they contain and the better they are for you. And bananas are a great one too because they also contain potassium and other special minerals and nutrients that we really need in our diets. Okay, berries, strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, boysenberries, they all contain from 1 to 3% prebiotic content. Eating them raw is the best way to get the most of your prebiotics. You can lightly cook them, but it's really important to not overcook them. And eating them raw is the best way to get them. Okay, next one is carrots, cabbage, and apples. They all contain 1 to 2% prebiotic content. And I love carrots and apples. I use them, in juicing and making meals, making tons of kraut. I always put apples and carrots in a lot of my kraut recipes or in my cultured veggie recipes. And then I get prebiotics and probiotics in one jar. Okay, now, you heard me talking about chicory root and inulin. It is 64.6% prebiotic content. Inulin is made from chicory root, and it is a very powerful prebiotic. Chicory root is roasted to reduce some of its potencies because it could cause stomach problems if they don't roast it a little bit. You need to roast chicory root is better. If you're not taking it with a probiotic, if it's not in the supplement form, you always want to get the roasted kind because it'll help you to not have the digestive problems. You can also find chicory root in my Prebio Plus and in sweet leaf stevia. The powder packages only, not the liquid, the powder ones. They use that, I think, as either a filler or as a fiber. And you can also find chicory root in many coffee alternatives. And I'm going to put a link in the description below, and you're going to be able to see all of the things that I recommend and where you can find them. And there's some, I think it's Ticano, or that's a coffee alternative. We've got one called Fojo's. They're delicious. They really helped my daughter heal from IBS because she drank that special coffee like is actually really tea. And it was a wonderful way to increase her good bacteria in her gut. And it really helped her heal from IBS and food allergies. And I'll link that in the description below so you can find all that information. I just was in town the other day. We have a guy that has kind of a little coffee place. And I always get his chicory steamer. And it's just chicory root coffee. And it's steamed with, I think it's steamed with almond milk or coconut milk. It's delicious. And I love to get that. That's one of my favorite drinks that he sells. And it's a great way to help your good bacteria grow, flourish, and really help your body to boost its immune system too. Okay, Dandelion Greens contain 24.3% prebiotic content. And they are delicious in salads. They're very enjoyable raw, but many foods are putting dandelion root into their products as prebiotics. And I've seen them in a few food bars. I've seen them, in some coffee alternatives again, like that are really more tea, but they taste like coffee. And it's really, I've got a few things that I love to make with dandelion greens with salads. And it's always going to help you to grow your good bacteria. Now, here's one of my favorite ones. Raw garlic is 17.5% prebiotic content. And as garlic ferments, it gets super bubbly and delicious. And I never could figure out why it would get so bubbly, but that's before I realized that it was a prebiotic. So it's also can be probiotic when you ferment it. So you're going to get prebiotics and probiotics when you make my raw garlic. I have a honey and garlic. Honey is also a prebiotic. You ferment it. It'll last many months on your counter in your cupboard. It's great for colds and flus. And it's fantastic. The taste is fantastic. I know it sounds awful, but when you ferment it in honey, and I'm going to put the link description below, you will love the taste of fermented garlic made with honey. It's delicious and it's great for your kids if they're sick, or for you if you've got a cold or a flu or something that you just need a little boost. Okay, now seeds. Seeds are very prebiotic. Things like flaxseed. Flax seeds contain the most prebiotic fibers at 13%, which is very high. But flax seeds have also been shown to improve insulin sensitivity. They modify the gut microbiome. Really, they do it more in people who are obese. They really change that flora. So flax seeds are really important to help you if you're struggling with your weight, or if you're struggling with, blood sugar issues. It's a fantastic prebiotic. I use a lot of flax seeds in different recipes that I make. They also give a little bit of oil-like texture to like muffins or any kind of breads. They're really important, and I love them. I love to put them in all different kinds of things because they're so good for you. Now, fructooleosaccharide, or what they label as FOS, contains 35% prebiotic content, and FOS is made from fruits and vegetables such as bananas, onions, chicory root, garlic, asparagus, jicama, and leeks. It's a group of inulin, and even grains such as wheat and barley contain FOS. The Jerusalem artichoke plant it's loaded with inulin, and together with blue agave plant, those two, the Jerusalem artichoke and the blue agave plant, has been found to have the highest concentration of FOS in plants. And you can also find FOS in Prebio Plus. That's the product that I sell, and it is really powerful. You can also find it I've seen it everywhere. It seems like I'm seeing it a lot in protein powders, the vegetable as well as the ones made with whey. A lot of them contain it because it helps to give a lot of fiber to the plant. It gives a little bit of sweetness, and it's also a prebiotic. So it's really, really good for you. Honey is interesting because it contains 3 to 4 prebiotic content. And the really interesting thing about honey is that it's also antibacterial as well as a prebiotic. So this can confuse people. How does it kill bacteria and also help bacteria grow? So the good bacteria grow. And the antibacterial qualities protect the honey from harmful microorganisms when it's in the hive. And honey contains unique oleosaccharides that have important prebiotic activities that work to increase the important populations of Bifidobacterium and lactobacilli in the body. And it's really unique how it works, but it's actually a very powerful prebiotic, and it actually protects the bees and keeps them from getting sick and the hives getting infected with microbes that could ultimately destroy the hive. Jerusalem artichoke, which we talked about, which is one of the things that FOS is made from, is rich in prebiotic fibers, and it's 31.5% prebiotic content. That's very high, and it can be eaten lightly cooked to obtain the benefits of this super prebiotic fiber, or raw, but mostly lightly cooked is the best way to get most of the prebiotics out of a Jerusalem artichoke. Now, leeks and jicama, which I absolutely love, contain 12% prebiotic content, and they are some of my very favorite veggies. I use leeks and jicama in so many dishes and so many cultured vegetable recipes and so many fermented foods. I love the taste. I love jicama. It's kind of got a sweet taste. Leeks have a unique flavor that I love because I do love onions, and onions also have a lot of prebiotics in them, but leeks have the most. If you want to check out my soup recipes, I have a lot of soups with leeks in them, butternut squash and leek soup. It's also in my Cultured Food for Health book. I also have a recipe with jicama in it for cultured vegetables, and I'll put that link in the description below. It's called Flu Prevention Cultured Veggies, and it's got, oh my gosh, I think it's got like 8 prebiotics in it, and it's fantastic. And I believe I just recently did a blog on this. And so you might want to check out that blog because it talks a lot about prebiotics too. Okay, legumes. Rice, potatoes, and sweet potatoes also contain 2 to 7% prebiotic content. Legumes and potatoes are unique. They contain resistant starch, which is another type of prebiotic fiber. Resistant starch does just what it says. It resists being digested in the small intestine until it enters into the large intestine, where it is fermented by bacteria. And it stimulates the growth of good bacteria in the large intestines and boosts the production of short-chain fatty acids like butyrate. Butyrate is very powerful anti-inflammatory effects that go way beyond your gut. It's a really important thing that your body manufactures this. You want more butyrate in your system. It's a powerful aid in preventing cancers, promoting weight loss, and boosting your immune system. It's a powerful anti-inflammatory that your body naturally makes. Okay, raw onions. I love onions. I love raw onions. I love cooked onions. I like them any way you can have them. And they have 8.6 prebiotic content. Cooked onions still contain 5, but much like garlic, much of the fiber will turn to sugar if you cook them very, very long. Raw is better, but lightly cooked is good too. You get 5% in lightly cooked, but the longer you cook them, the more prebiotic content you lose. Okay, nuts contain 1 to 6% prebiotic content, depending on the nut. Even roasted nuts can have prebiotic fibers in them. Nuts are very healthy. Almonds have a lot. Almonds have a lot of prebiotic content in them. And so there's a lot of health benefits for almonds. And I think that's one of the reasons there's so many health benefits is because it helps feed your microbiome and really allows that bacteria to do what it's meant to do. And that's to keep you healthy and help you digest your foods, but also it does a myriad of things like helping with insulin, helping with cholesterol, keeping it at the perfect levels so that it keeps you healthy. Okay, whole grains, oats, quinoa, millet, buckwheat, all contain 2 to 5% prebiotic content. And it's most important to eat soaked or sprouted grains or to consume breads made with sourdough starters. These kind of preparations, and I really noticed a difference in my family when I started to make breads with sourdough starters or soaked breads that made sprouted grains. These preparations, when you use these types of things, help to unlock the nutrients by deactivating the phytic acid in grains that can really wreak havoc on our guts. They keep you from getting the vitamins and minerals that you need because they lock it up in the grain. And unless it's deactivated, you don't get the calcium, magnesium, and the B vitamins that you would normally get in the grains. So it kind of creates it creates something in the gut that doesn't allow you to get what you need from it. So it's like empty nutrients. Now, oats have a lot of soluble fiber in them, and so does quinoa, millet, buckwheat. They are especially helpful if you have problems with wheat. That's really, really good for you. And there are so many studies done on oats and how good they are for you. And so I highly recommend adding oats to your diet or one of these other ones. Millet and buckwheat are also fabulous for you, and they really help you a lot. Now, here's the supplement types that I love, which is the Prebio Plus, the Sweet Leaf Stevia, the Eco Bloom by Bodycology, all contain lots of prebiotics, and they're up to 86% prebiotic fibers. And Prebio Plus has the most, which I'm going to leave a link in the description below. It has 3 different prebiotics in it: inulin, Acacia, and FOS, and that contains all 3 of them. Sweet Leaf Stevia contains inulin. It's only in the powder form, as does Eco Bloom. Inulin and FOS are about 41% content. With our product, Prebio Plus, you get 86% because you get all 3 of them. You can use these in all kinds of cultured food dishes. You can sprinkle them I put them on salads. I put them in my coffee and tea. I put them in dressing. I've even put them in my ketchup. They're all pretty powerful, and a little bit goes a long way. Start out very small in the beginning. Don't use a lot in the beginning because you're going to feel it. It's going to start to gurgle in your gut because you're going to hear all this activity going on. So it has a small scoop. So just use like a tiny bit in the beginning, just till you get used to it. And combine it with probiotic foods or put it in your probiotic foods. That's a better way to get it because they consume it and make it easier for you to digest. A lot of people are claiming that it helps with weight loss. And I have some studies that I've written about this. And there's a lot of studies about it helps people to feel full and satisfied, weight loss, blood sugars. I think I wrote that in an article. It was called The Most Powerful Cultured Vegetable Recipe. That's the title of the blog. And I'll put that link below. But there's there's more and more research coming out about how powerful these prebiotic fibers are that allow your body to grow your microbiome in a powerful way. As with all prebiotics, allow your body to adjust. I see people go on juice fast and they get very sick the first couple of days because their body just gets all this good bacteria growing. Well, it starts to clean house. So it tries to eliminate a lot of debris and a lot of pathogens that are in the body, which can give off toxins when they die. For instance, Candida gives off 80 toxins when it dies. So juicing can do that in the first few days, but then it's short-lived and it goes away. Well, it's the same with these types of fibers. The more fruits and vegetables you eat, more of these types of prebiotic supplements you use, you might get a die-off, which they call a Herkimer reaction, which is just a die-off of harmful pathogens and bacteria, which allows the good bacteria to grow and multiply. But in the beginning, it can make you gassy. It's going to ferment and grow and change your inner ecosystem. So you want to go slowly so you don't get uncomfortable. And it would be, it's just really a whole city down there in your gut going on that you don't know about that is really governing so many thousands of processes in your body that you don't know about. And growing your good microbiome is so important for health and wellness. And especially in this day and age when, we've got an onslaught of, we're lacking minerals in our diet. We're lacking a lot of vitamins. A lot of the foods we eat aren't very nutrient dense. And having a lot of prebiotics in your diet is going to really change so many things. It's going to allow you to absorb more of those nutrients from the foods you eat. And it's also going to allow you to increase more minerals and get the things you need to be healthy. So there are many, many more prebiotics. I have just touched on some of the most important ones that I like. But here's the deal. Concentrate on feeding your microbes lots of healthy probiotic foods and prebiotic foods in the forms of fruits, veggies, nuts, seeds, grains, and really watch as your microbes take care of you from the inside out. Everybody knows we should eat more fruits and vegetables, and here's why. It feeds your gut flora, and it allows your gut flora to keep you healthy and to keep your mind healthy too. And I love that. I love that our body knows how to heal us, that our body knows how to keep us well. But you have to feed it what it needs and give it the foods and nutrients that it needs to keep you healthy. So I hope that helped you. Don't forget, I'll put the description below. It's a lot of information to ingest. So I always leave the links where I have a lot of pictures, a lot of links, things that you can look at. So it makes it laid out in a very easy format. So thank you guys for listening. I hope you join me next week. I always appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to spend it with me. So have a good one.